Alright, so for number 1, it says D is 5, 4. Over 5, up 4. It says E is 5, 10. So you go over 5, up 10. So you're right there. Remember to count the boxes if you're trying to look for the length of a segment. So we end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the length of our segment is 6. So our answer for number 1 is 6. Okay? Number 2, it says L is 2, 3. And it says M is 8, 3. So for 2, 3, we go over 2, up 3. M is 8, 3, over 8, up 3. Then you do your counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the answer to number 2 is also 6. Okay, so for number 3 it says U is 2, 5. So go over 2, up 5. V is 9, 5. Over 9, up 5. And you just count your spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 3 is 7. Number 4 is just asking you to make a shape, right? Just draw the polygon and connect the dots, basically, is what it's telling you to do. Okay? So A is 1/2, 3. So if it's 1/2, 3, you go over 1/2 and up 3. So you're right in the middle of a box right there. Okay? B is 2, 5. Over 2, up 5. C is 4, 4. Over 4, up 4. So you're right about there. Then it just wants you to connect the dots and see what shape you get. So for number 4, you have a triangle. Okay? Number 5 says D is 2, 4. Over 2, up 4. E is 2, 5.5. Over 2, up to 5, then up that other half right there. So you're right about there. F is 7 and 5.5. So 7 over 7 up to 5.5. So you're right there. G is 7, 4. Over 7 up 4. And you just connect the dots. So you have a rectangle for number 5. Okay? For number 6, you've got J is 5, 3. Over 5, up 3. K is 8, 3. Over 8, up 3. L is 8, 1. Over 8, up 1. M is 5, 1. Over 5, up 1. And once again, you have a rectangle. Okay? For number 7, M is 1.5, 1/2, 5, so you go over 1.5 and up to 5, so you're right about there. N is 4, 7, over 4, up 7. P is 7, 3, over 7, up 3. Q is 7, 1, over 7, up 1. R is 4, 0, over 4, up 0, so you're right there. And you just connect the dots. So you have this to this. So it's a pentagon, a weirdly shaped pentagon. So number 8 is where it all comes together and asks you to find the perimeter and area of a polygon that you draw. Okay, so C is 4, 1, over 4, up 1. D is 4, 6, over 4, up 6. E is 9, 6, over 9, up 6. F is 9, 1, over 9, up 1. Connect the dots and you should have a square. Okay. And then you just count spaces for each side. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. And now you know, since it's a square, each side's going to end up being equal. Okay? So to find the area, you would do area equals length times width. So you'd have 5 times 5. So then the area of our square is 25 units squared. And we have perimeter, you just add up each side, so 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 gives you 20 units for the perimeter. Okay? Number 9 says S is 8, 4. So over 8 up 4. T is 4, 4. Over 4 up 4. U is 4, 9. Over 4 up 9. V is 8, 9. Over 8 up 9. So you have a rectangle this time. Count each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you know opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. So those are your side lengths. For your area, you still do length times width. So you'd have 5 times 4, which equals 20 units squared for our area. And the perimeter, add up each side. 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 4. And you end up with 18 units. For number 10, it says describe and correct the error in drawing a rectangle with vertices E, 1, 2. So E would be over 1 up 2. F 6, 2 over 6 up 2. G is 6, 4 over 6 up 4. H is 1, 4 over 1 up 4. So we connect our dots like this. The error they made on the paper is that the guy connected it like this. Okay, so his error was just not connecting them in the right order. Okay? Flip to the back. This is our first shape. So when you're doing composite shapes, you want to break them into rectangles and triangles. Those are the easiest shapes to work with. And you can only cut shapes vertically or horizontally. So vertically would be like that, horizontally is like this. And you can only cut them from the corners. So we'd have corners are these right here. Okay, so you can only cut them from corners. So on this shape, I would cut this like this. So I've cut it into a rectangle and a triangle. To find the area of the blue rectangle, you would do length times width, so you'd have 9 times 4 equals 36. And then I would try to find the area of the red triangle, which would be tricky because you have to figure out what this missing side is. So if you look at it, this whole side is 9. This goes to here and is 3. So how much is left over to make 9? 6. So you do 6 times 5 is 30, and since it's a triangle, you divide by 2. You get the area of the triangle is 15. So if you add those two together, your total area for the first one would be 51 units squared. Alright? Number 2, I would cut from this corner like that. So you'd have this blue triangle and this red rectangle. So for the rectangle, you're just doing 6 times 3, which equals 18. And this side is also 6 because it's opposite on the rectangle. And opposite sides of rectangles are equal. So for the triangle, you would do 6 times 3 equals 18, and divide that by 2 to get 9. Then you add those two together and you get 27 units squared for your area for that second problem. Number 3, you need to make multiple cuts, okay? So your first cut would be right here. Okay? The second cut you would make would be right there. So now you have this black rectangle, this red triangle, and this blue triangle. Okay? You know this side's 6, this side is 8. Opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. To find the area of the blue triangle, you would do 8 times 3 equals 24. Divide that by 2 and you get 12. The area of the black rectangle is 8 times 6, which equals 48. And the area of the red triangle would be 6 times 1 equals 6. Divide that by 2 and you'd get 3. Add up both sides. 48 plus 12 is 60 plus 3 would give you 63 units squared. From the third problem. The fourth problem, it's only going to take one cut, right? Right there you'd make your cut, you'd have a blue triangle and a red square. The square would be 4 times 4, which equals 16. This side would be 6 right here. I'm sorry, not 6. That side would be 4. And for the triangle, you would do 4 times 4, which equals 16, and divide by 2 to get 8. Add those two together and you should get 24 units squared. So this shape is going to take a couple cuts. You want to make triangles and rectangles, right? So I've made 2 triangles and I've got the rectangle in the middle right there. Okay? To find the area of the rectangle, you just do 10 times 4, which equals 40. To find the area of the triangle, you would do 4 times 10 equals 40. Divided by 2 would give you 20. The area of the second triangle would be 3 times 10, because these opposite sides of this rectangle are equal, so you have 10 for the height of the triangle. That equals 30. You divide by 2 and you get 15. Add those two together and you get the area of that composite shape is 75 units squared. Okay? For 16, I would make one cut right there. So you'd have your 2 shapes, a red rectangle, blue triangle. Now this is one where you have to use your sides to figure out a missing length. So if this side right here is 3, this whole thing is 10, then how much do you have left over? 7. So that length right there is 7. So to find the area of the triangle, you do 6 times 7 equals 42. Divide by 2 and you get 21. The area of the rectangle would be 4 times 10 equals 40. Add those two together and you get 61 units squared. Okay. The 7th problem on the back, I would make one cut right there. Get the blue triangle. And I have a red rectangle. The rectangle would be 4 times 12, which equals 48. This side is 12 right here for the triangle because opposite sides of rectangle are equal. So you would do 4 times 12 for the triangle, which equals 48. Divide by 2 and you get 24. If you add those two together, you should have 72 units squared for number 7 on the back. Number 8 on the back, I would make one cut right there. Okay, this side would be 18, right? Opposite sides of rectangle. So you would do the red triangle and the blue rectangle. The rectangle would be 8 times 18, which would give you 144. The red triangle would be 6 times 18, which would give you 108. Divided by 2 would give you 54. Okay, add those two together, and you would end up with 198 units squared for number 8. So for the last one, I would make one cut right there. Have a blue rectangle and a red triangle. For the area of the triangle, I would do 5 times 8, which equals 40. Divide by 2, which equals 20. For the rectangle, I would do 8 times 6, which equals 48. Add those two together, I would get 68 units squared. So remember, for the quiz, you only make vertical cuts and horizontal cuts, right? And you always make them from corners. If you remember that, you should be all set, okay?